Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to be making some cards with our stamps and dies called Favorite Flavor. So they're going to be some ice cream themed cards. They're going to be super cute and super simple and easy to do. So let's go down to the table and let's get crafty. I have everything ready for our first card. I'm going to turn my mini Minc machine on to number 3. So it can heat up because we're going to do a little bit of foiling for some of these cards. For our first card, we are creating a mini slimline card. So for my mini slimline cards, I take one of our slimline pre-cut, pre-scored card bases, and I cut 2.5 inches off the end. I can use that 2.5 inches to stamp my sentiments or my little critters, whatever I'm stamping. I don't waste that part of the card. Then I have a 6 by 3.5 inch mini slimline card. For the base of our card front, I've cut our mini slimline layered scallop dies out of 2 colors. And you may look at this and go, this looks really funky. Why doesn't it have scallops going all the way around? They kind of look like lumps and bumps. Well, what you do with this die is you cut it out of 2 different colors and you layer them together. And they create scallops going around in alternating colors. So fun. This is such a fun die to use. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these panels down to our card base. It does not matter which one you glue on top and which one is the bottom layer, because both of those colors of scallops are going to be showing. I'm using our Easy Squeeze craft glue to adhere these panels together. When I put it down, I have just a few seconds that I can shimmy that into place, and then I can glue both of them down to my card base. I love how that fits perfectly on that mini slimline card base with just a little bit of white border going around the edges. Now let's take a moment and foil a couple of pieces for the card. I've got my critters here. I want to make sure I get my sentiment out as well, because we're going to foil the sentiment too. So I've taken from our sprinkles foilables, just have all the little sprinkles, or I've heard in some places you call these jimmies. I've never used that term for them. I've always just called them sprinkles. I'm going to take our foil dusting brush and I'm just going to dust off this panel, make sure there's no dust or debris or dog hairs, anything to interfere with the foil adhering to that toner print. I'm going to be foiling with this with our Ombre Pastel cheer foil, which is a beautiful, just rainbow colors. I'm just going to flip it over and make sure that my panel is completely covered with foil. And then I'm going to put it in the transfer folder that comes with our mini Minc machine, and the folded side goes in the machine first. And you just put it straight, directly straight and even through there, and we're going to let it run through. I can remove this from the folder once it's done going through the Minc machine, but I want to let it cool off. We don't want to pull that foil away from the toner printed design until it's completely cool and that toner ink is cooled down on the panel. And when it's cool, we can do my favorite part, which is the peel and reveal. And now our sprinkles are beautifully foiled in those pretty pastel colors. So we've got all different colors there. That's gorgeous. Gonna make a great background for our ice cream themed card here. I've got the sentiment Celebrate, and this is from our Happy Birthday Foilables cut-ups. All the sentiments in there are already pre-cut and ready to be foiled and added to your project. I want to foil that in one of the colors in our pastel foil sheet here, and I can still use this foil that we haven't used yet. So I'm going to put it in that really pretty blue. We want to add it to our transfer folder. I'm just going to put it up there where I know that blue color is. When I'm foiling a small piece like that, I like to put it in upside down so I can see that the piece doesn't move or shift on the foil as it's going through the machine. It doesn't matter if you have it right side up or upside down as you go through the mini ink machine, because the heated rollers will distribute the heat evenly on both sides. Once this is cool, we can just peel it away from our foil. Now we have a really pretty foiled sentiment. It says Celebrate. And don't forget, you can use your negative foil pattern on another solid toner sheet to get that pretty sprinkled background on another card. Now we're ready to assemble our card, but first, I wanted this Celebrate to pop off the background here a little bit better because it has a white background along with this sprinkle background. So I want it to kind of be tan, like one of my scallop colors there. So I'm just going to quickly ink that up and I'll show you. I've just got a paper towel here that I'm going to put the sentiment on to protect my work surface. I've got a light brown ink pad, and I'm using our ink dauber wands that are by the Maker Session. I love these for adding ink through stencils and just inking small die cut pieces like this, because it's so simple and easy just to tap that sponge in your ink pad and then tap it onto your paper. You can add as little or as much ink as you like to get the color as dark and deep as you want. There we go. And I'm just going to tap off some excess on the paper towel and put my ink pad away. I'm also going to use the paper towel just to gently wipe off any ink that might be sitting on top of the foil. We still have that beautiful foiled Celebrate, but now the background is a little bit darker and it's going to stand out much better on our card. Love that. So I'm going to adhere down our foilable panel. Just going to quickly use tape runner for that. And here's our card so far. We have those cute little alternating colored scallops around our sprinkles background. All those pretty pastel, shiny, sparkly colors. Now let's add our stamps from the Favorite Flavor set. I'm going to make this a horizontal card. So I have three little characters we're going to add, and I've got their little sugar cones that go underneath them. So I'm just kind of placing them on here to get an idea of how the placement will go. So this stamp set has some really cute little characters that are meant to be big scoops of ice cream. So their little chubby faces are like a big scoop of ice cream in the shape of the animals. So we've got a bunny here with chocolate syrup. We've got two little koalas. They've got some either caramel or chocolate syrup on them. And then we have the little piggy over here. I've die cut out two of the cherries, and we're going to put those on top of two of them. And you might wonder what the little squiggly pieces here are. That's the little ice cream that kind of is right underneath them, like maybe a little drippy ice cream or the bottom of the ice cream cone. So you color that to match your ice cream, and it goes right on top of the cone there. So I'll move the critters back a bit, and we'll glue down the little ice cream cones. And there's the third one. So we have our ice cream cones down. Now I'm going to add the little squiggly layer of ice cream that goes right on top of the cone. Now I just have to attach the little critters to their ice cream cone, and I have already added some of our foam tape to the back of them just to pop them up off the card a little bit for some dimension. So far, look how adorable that is. So cute. Now we just have our Celebrate that we can add wherever we like. kind of like it up there, or maybe down here. And then we have our 2 cherries. I know 1 cherry I want to add to the top of the pig. And then the other one I think I want to add down there at the bottom of the rabbit. That kind of draws your eye across the card because the rabbit has the ears sticking up, and then you come down to the cherry and then you go up over here to the other one. You want to do things that are pleasing to the eye and that just kind of draws your eye around the card. And now I'm just going to add my Celebrate. I think I want to pop that up a little bit too. So I'll grab our foam tape, our giant roll of foam tape. Get 108 feet on here. Super easy to cut with some regular scissors, and I'm actually going to cut it down the middle lengthwise because I need a thinner strip for my sentiment, and then I can use the other strip later on for something else. And there is our first card. I love it. You got the little foiled accents in the background, with them sparkle and shine, and then our adorable little ice cream cones. They're too cute to eat, aren't they? And then the word Celebrate. For a second card, I'm making a side folding A2 card with our A2 sized pre-scored, pre-cut card base. We're going to do a little bit more foiling on this one, so let's go ahead and do that first. I have one of our foilable panels called Waffle Cone. Just kind of looks like that waffle cone diamond pattern in the background. Just going to quickly brush that off with our foil dusting brush. I'm going to put it in our transfer folder, and I am using our Log Cabin Cheer Foil. It's a beautiful brown, sparkly foil. It looks like wood, like a wood grain. It's really cool. We're going to use that kind of to give that look in the background of a waffle cone, ice cream cone. I'm going to remove both pieces from the transfer folder, but again, I want it to cool down completely before I do my peel and reveal. So while we let that cool, we're going to foil one more piece, and it's just a small strip of black, solid black toner paper. So this is just toner ink, solid black. We sell them in sheets and we sell them in A2 size panels, but I've just cut a little strip down here to put on the card as an accent piece. And I'm going to foil it with our bronze cheer foil. And it's just what it says, just a pretty metallic bronze finish. Put it in the transfer folder. I'm going to flip it over to the back. I can always see easier if my piece is completely covered by the foil. while that runs through, we're going to peel and reveal. Oh my goodness, look at that. Don't forget to use your negative foil for another card. I have plenty of videos where I show you how to use the negative foil pattern. So you want to keep that, use it on another card. Look at our cool waffle cone background. I don't know if it shows through on the camera as well as it does here, that really pretty wood grain look to the foil. That gives that really cool effect. That's all the foiling we're going to do, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my ink machine off, move it a little bit out of the way. Now that this piece is cooled, we can peel away and see that we've used all that foil on there, and we've got a beautiful bronze strip of paper. We've created our own foil metallic paper. How fun is that? So for this card, we are going to make a shaker card. So I've got one of our shaker covers. This is our A2 small shaker cover. So it's 3 3/4 by 5. So it's a little smaller than the A2 card front. So you can have a border going around it. And the border that we're going to have go around this is this piece of cardstock here. Now I've used the middle for something else because you're not going to see the middle. You're just going to see the border around the outside, and you'll see that in a moment. I've just chosen this kind of minty green colored cardstock, and that's because one of our ice creams kind of looks like either mint chocolate chip or pistachio, that really pretty minty green color. So let's glue the scallop piece down to the card front first. And remember, as I said, I cut out the middle of this scalloped rectangle with a smaller scalloped rectangle die, and you'll see that being used in our next card. So if you're not going to see the center of your rectangle, you can always cut it out, die cut it out, and use it on another card so that paper isn't wasted. Now let's go ahead and make our shaker pocket. Okay. I've also got some of our confetti sequins here. This is the flamingo color, really pretty pink. So I've got our pick up and place tool, which has a pokey tip on one end and a wax tip on the other. The wax tip, you can pick up small die cut pieces of paper and stick it on your card, or you could pick up like the confetti sequins or small gems and pearls. You hear it sticking, but it's just a light tap. You don't want to press too hard because this is wax. You can break it and smush it. It's just a light tap and stick. But we are going to use the pokey tool, as I call it, because our shaker covers have a thin film over the front of them, and that thin film is just to protect the front of it so it stays nice and shiny for you with no scratches or defects. So I'm just going to use the pokey tool down in the bottom, and you see how I'm just lifting that clear plastic protective sheet off of there. It just helps me get that protective coating off a little easier. If you have fingernails, you could use your fingernails too. Then I'm going to flip my cover over, and I'm going to fold in my flaps. Fold in the part that has the adhesive. I'm just going to kind of pre-fold those on the score lines. That way it's going to be easy to fold in onto our panel that goes inside here. So now I'm going to lay it flat on the table with the folded flaps folded up. I'm going to take my pretty shiny waffle cone piece, and I'm going to put it in the center of my panel. You want to center it nicely. I'm going to hold it down with one hand while I peel the release paper off the adhesive of one side. While I'm holding it flat, you want to hold it flat, nice and flat. I'm going to fold over that one side and adhere it down really well. I'm going to turn it around to do the other side, all the while holding this panel and the cover flat to the table. You want to keep it as flat as possible because you don't want it to buckle or bubble up on you too much. So you peel that release paper from the adhesive, hold that paper flat down to the cover, and then press the second side down. I'm going to turn it one more turn here, and we're going to do one more side. Peel the release paper. I'm still holding this paper as flat as possible while I adhere the third side. Now you don't want to do the fourth one yet because you want to leave this open to put your little shaker pieces in. But look at that. Now we have this cool little pocket, and we can add sequins or little clay bits, whatever you like to add to your shaker cards. I've already used some of my flamingo confetti on a previous card, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the package open because I know I'm going to use the rest of these sequins. So I'm going to open that up a little bit, and then I'm going to pour them into my shaker pocket. Now I have my sequins in there. I'm going to lay it down again, and we're going to adhere this last flap so we close up our pocket. So make sure you have everything in there that you want. You want to hold it as flat as possible again while you press down that fourth side. Now look how fun that is. Not only will we have that waffle cone pattern in the back with the log cabin foil on it, we have some beautiful pink shiny confetti sequins inside. Now we're ready to adhere this to the card. When you adhere one of our shaker pockets to the card base, you want to use a nice strong adhesive. So I'm using one of our Easy Tear tapes. They're super strong, double-sided tape, but it's easy to tear with your hands. I love that. So you just peel off the amount you need and tear it with your hand. I'm using the 1/4 inch here, but if I had my 1/2 inch thick tape handy, I would be using the 1/2 inch for this. But the 1/4 inch is what I have on the table, so that's what we're going to work with. I'll just put a couple strips in the middle here as well. Another thing I love about our Easy Tear tape, it's not only easy to tear with your hands, it's also easy to get the release paper away from the tape. I don't know about you, but when I'm crafting, I like things to be easy. I don't want to struggle with anything if I don't have to. So nice and simple and easy. Now we're going to adhere this down in the center of our scalloped rectangle. And just press that tape down really good. And here is our shaker card so far. Love that. But we're not done. We're not done. We have to decorate the outside of this card. I like to have a lot going on the inside of my shaker card to give you interest, but also I like to decorate the outside as well. So I've got a strip of pink glitter paper just from one of our glitter paper packs. The glitter does not shed off our paper, and it's super easy to cut and die cut. And then I've got that thin strip that we foiled earlier with the bronze cheer foil that I'm going to adhere to the top of the glitter paper. Never be afraid to use your glitter paper with your foils. I think you can never have too much sparkle and shine. I like to use a liquid adhesive when I'm adhering paper to glitter paper, because that glitter paper has some texture to it, right, from the glitter. So the liquid adhesive is really better at grasping and holding the paper down to that glitter paper. I got a little touch of glue there on the end, so I just kind of scratched it off my fingernail before it. There we go. Now we're ready to adhere this to our shaker pocket. And I've cut that the width of the shaker pocket, so it's 3 3/4 inches. Now we're ready to add our adorable ice cream. This time I've used the different cone. This is like a little waffle cone, and I've got 3 scoops that are going to go on this cone. We're going to start with the little bear. He's our little, we'll call him mint chocolate chip because I prefer that over pistachio any day. Then we've got our little piggy, and then our bunny. And I'm just placing them so that I know how they're going to go and how they're going to fit. I don't want them to go off the top of the card, so I can see here that I need to move the ice cream cone down a little so that it's not too tall. That's going to be super cute. Now we've glued down all our little ice cream characters. Aren't they cute? I'll take a triple scoop, please. That's adorable. So now I have this sentiment that I stamped and die cut. It says, if you were ice cream, you would be my favorite flavor. I've added a little bit of foam tape to the back of the sentiment because I wanted to pop it up just a little bit. I'm going to put it right here next to the ice cream cone. I had also cut out some little strawberries that I colored, but I think I'm not going to add them to the card because I think I like it just as it is without them. Another super simple, easy to make. But look at that shaker card. So fun. With that big, tall ice cream cone. That again is too cute to eat. Now for our third card, we're going to make a little fun fold card. So for the base, I have an A2 side folding card, kind of opening it backwards, you might say, but I've cut half of the front off of here. So you just take half of 4 1/4, which is 2 1/8, and you're just going to cut half of that off. So you kind of have half of a front. All right. We're going to add a panel to the inside of the card. I've cut a piece of craft cardstock. This is our Pebble, which looks like craft. It's nice tan. And I've cut it with a scalloped rectangle die. And then I've run it through with our grid embossing folder. So it gives it that, again, that waffle cone texture. You can either use the embossed or debossed side of it for the card. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down inside my card base. So this is what our card looks like so far. We've got that half of the front. I've got my embossed panel glued down to the inside, and I'm going to set this part aside for a second. This fun fold card is going to kind of be like a card inside a card. So I've got another side folding card. I've taken our A2 side folding card base and I've cut it an inch smaller than the regular A2 card. So instead of 4 1/4 wide, this is going to be 3 1/4 wide. Instead of 5 1/2 tall, this is going to be 4 1/2. So I've just cut an inch off the top, inch off the side. There we go. So we're going to decorate the front of this. And here you go. I've got that scalloped rectangle piece that we cut from the previous card that we did. This is the center of that piece. I cut with a smaller scallop rectangle. And with my stitched rectangle, I've cut a piece to go on top of there. And this is from our Rainbow Swirls paper pack. It's just swirls of color. It's a really pretty paper pack. So I am going to adhere that to the scalloped rectangle. This is going to go on the front of this smaller card, but before we do that, I want to add some twine. I've got a short pieces of twine here that I'm going to wrap around the back and adhere to the back. And the twine I have is our golden twine and our salon twine, which is a really pretty pink and white and then gold and white. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of my panel where the twine is going to wrap around and adhere to. There we go. Now we have some twine going across the front of that panel. I like using twine and ribbons on my cards because I love that added texture that they add. Now we'll glue this panel to that card base, that small card base. We can go ahead and decorate the front of our small card base. I've got another little ice cream cone here. And this time the ice cream is little kitties, and it looks like they have whipped cream on the top of them there. So cute. Glue this down. I want to see how I'm going to place it with my sentiment. I think I'll have the sentiment going off the card at the top, like so. So let's glue these down. All right, I've got my little cone and that little squiggle of ice cream glued down to the card base. Kind of went over the twine there a little bit. And then for my scoops of ice cream, the little kitties, I've added some foam tape to the back for dimension. So we'll add them right to the top of the cone there. And I want to put a little cherry on top. Gotta have a cherry on top, right? Oh yeah, so cute. That little cherry sit right in that whipped cream at the top. I've also cut some more pieces of twine that I'm going to put underneath the twine that's attached to the card, and I'm just going to tie a simple knot. Not tying a bow or anything fancy, just a simple knot. And before I tie it down to the twine, I always like to add a little dot of glue where that knot is going to sit, and that'll help hold it into place. So slide my knot where I want it, and then I'm going to tie it. And then I just need to trim the ends of the excess twine here. And then I like to kind of play with the ends and fray them a little bit, just so they get a little fluffier, and they just add a little fun texture to the front of your card. There we go. Now we can add our sentiment at the top. Again, I've added some foam tape to the back of it just to pop it up a little bit. There we go. So our little card for the front is done. So if you were ice cream, you would be my favorite flavor. Let's finish decorating our bigger card piece. I've cut 2 strips to decorate the front panel here. First with this pink glitter paper, and then another strip of the Rainbow Swirls pattern paper. So let's adhere these to this little card panel there. Now the last thing we have to do is attach this small card to the larger card. So we're going to attach it right on the inside. We're going to glue the back of this card to the inside of this card on that scalloped rectangle. So there is the inside of the card. And actually, if you did it just like that for a card front, that's really cute. But this is a fun fold card. So we have a card inside a card. So now you can open that up, open that up. You could even decorate this inside panel with some pattern paper to match the front. But that is our little fun fold card. I love it. I love how it opens and closes, and I like that rainbow swirl paper with the ice cream theme. I think it works out really well. Super cute. There's our third card. Here are the 3 cards we made. We made a mini slimline card with some foiled accents. Love it. We made a full-size shaker card. So fun. We made an adorable card inside a card. A little fun fold card there. Thanks so much again for joining me today. Which one of the ice cream themed cards was your favorite? I don't know, I'm kind of partial to all of them. But each one has its own individual and unique look, but using the same stamps and dies with other elements along with them. You can find all these products used at pinkandmane.com or ask your local retailer. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.